Guy named Feng Zi is in love with the most popular girl in school, Suji. Suji overhears him telling his friends that he loves her, and she extends an invitation for him to visit his apartment. Returning together, they talked about the weird murders that have been happening lately. The victims are men, and these murders usually happen while the victim is making love, so Suji promises to protect him from this danger. She also reveals that she has been interested in him for a while, and they eventually become a couple. The next day, they go shopping. After the purchase, the man suddenly falls from a tall building on Feng Zi, but Suji saves him. The man who fell died on the spot, and many assumed it was a suicide, but this was not the case. Feng Zi goes to hand out flyers because he needs to make money after spending all of his money on shopping. Suddenly, he hears a cry for help in the room next to him. The door is opened by a girl who tries to seduce him and offers her services. He gets out of that situation, but he meets the girl again when he gets drunk. She picked him up and brought him to her room. Suji discovers this and rushes to his aid before anything bad happens. The two girls got into a fight, and it is revealed that both of them are monsters who eat the life force of humans and are responsible for these murders. Although Suji was the dominant one in the fight, the tree monster still managed to trap her with her vines. Attempting to protect his girlfriend, Feng Zi took an attack and almost died. Suji was enraged by this and released her true power. The fight between the two continues. Suji is winning without a hitch, but the tree girl manages to escape. After she escapes, remembering her hard life, she then attacks another human who tried to help her. Feng Zi wakes up realizing that Suji has the powers of a nine-tailed fox. Even though she's a monster, Suji keeps her promise to protect Feng Zi. 2 days pass after the incident, and Feng Zi doesn't know where his girlfriend is. However, while he was talking to his friends, she suddenly appeared and took him to a place full of monsters that he can only recognize with the help of a special magnifying glass. Suji explains to him that although they once fought a war, today monsters and humans live in peace. Yet there are exceptions, and one of them is the demon tree, who because of her personal trauma, has a different view of humanity. The tree monster is still killing people, and the police have hired a special detective to stop her. This detective is part of a famous clan whose purpose is to fight demons. Meanwhile, Suji warns Feng Zi not to leave the school ground because the tree monster would come for him, or rather his life energy. He disobeys her, but the tree monster still appears. She uses his friends as hostages and forces him to go with her to a hotel. As she prepares to devour him, she tells him about all the creatures that have perished because of humans. The past of a tree monster named He-Wan has been revealed. As a young girl, she lived happily in the woods with friends and dreamed of the day when she would become human. One day, tree monsters heard that humans would come and cut them down in order to build homes. Because of their forms, most monsters weren't able to escape. He-Wan and her friend were the closest to getting human forms, so the others agreed to give them their energy and hope that they would at least survive. However, the energy of the smaller monsters wasn't enough, so the boy gave his energy to He-Wan, making her the only survivor of the forest. She now seeks revenge on the people responsible for the deaths of her friends. Feng Zi apologizes to her on behalf of humanity for that incident. She rejects his apology and attacks him. Suji finds out and is ready to save Feng Zi. It seemed that everything was over for him when He-Wan stabbed his chest with her vines, but instead of dying, Feng Zi gained incredible strength and power that he uses to oppose He-Wan. With his newly discovered power, he easily opposes her, but that strength leaves him at a crucial moment. Before He-Wan manages to finish him off, Suji appears and saves her boyfriend. Two monsters enter a fight in which Suji is visibly stronger. After her opponent provokes her, Suji attacks even harder. But instead of escaping, He-Wan uses all her strength to protect herself. Suji enters the building where He-Wan is hiding. She's surrounded by vines and has to defend herself from sudden attacks. Due to hard battle, the building collapsed. Feng Zi runs to find Suji, but first finds He-Wan. She attacks him again, but Suji appears once more to stop her. He-Wan, now without an arm and a leg, is unable to continue the fight. Suji plans to take away the life energy she took and return He-Wan to her original form. He-Wan, not wanting the enemy to do so, takes energy from herself and uses it to rebuild the forest that humans have cut down. Returning to her original form, He-Wan meets her long-lost friends again. Things seem to have calmed down after the conflict with He-Wan, but Feng Zi once again meets a strange girl with even more ridiculous requests. However, she is not an enemy, but an agent who works for a detective in charge of monster cases. It's her duty to protect Feng Zi because he is special, which Suji later explains to him. He is the so-called Yang Yang, the one with mythical eyes in which he can see monsters. There's a seal on his body that keeps those powers closed. The only way to see monsters now is through something like a magnifying glass. During the fight with He-Wan, after she stabbed his chest, his true strength was revealed when the seal was momentarily broken. That's why his safety is in everyone's interest. While While they were out talking about Feng Zi's abilities, Suji caught Go Shuang spying on her and Feng Zi. There's almost a confrontation between the two girls, but Suji backs off, knowing that Go Shuang isn't an enemy. Go Shuang continues to follow Feng Zi and seriously threatens his privacy. She stalks him, cooks him food, and always appears when he needs anything. When she saved him from the bullies, he begs her to stop protecting and following him. But she, wanting to complete her mission, refuses. She promises her senior that she will complete the task, even if she has to do mind and body in order to confirm that Feng Zi is the one with mythical eyes. Feng Zi's life is becoming more and more difficult because of the people around him. He tries to eat his noodles in peace, but is interrupted by Go Shuang. He finally realizes that she is there to protect him. She finds a lot of openings in his room and explains to him how all the monsters are tied to one area and how the same applies to him. This puts his body in danger. She wants to have a mind and body with him in order to find if he is really the one she needs to protect, which she can confirm using his seed. She takes Feng Zi to a hotel but does nothing. Before anything happened, she broke down and ran away. After that, she called a colleague to tell him that she was unable to complete the mission. During this time, the hotel owner wants to ask Feng Zi for a favor. The owner of the hotel is not a human, but a monster, and needs Feng Zi's help. He opened a hotel to help other monsters gather the necessary mana. Female demons would bring a man, and using his seed, they can get the life energy. However, lately his clients have started to disappear. He believes it's a serial killer who drains their life energy and then kills them when they return to their original form. He asks Feng Zi to ask his friends to help him. He wants Nine-Tailed Fox to protect his hotel because of her strength. Feng Zi agrees and tried approaching Suji, but she refuses to help. Desperate, he asks Go Shuang for help, and without a question, she agrees and comes up with a plan for the operation. Feng Zi and Go Shuang arrive at the hotel where they prepare a trap for the killer. After preparing and setting the bait, Go Shuang sensed that the enemy was close and threw Feng Zi out. The enemy turns out to be the owner of the hotel. His plan was to attract Suji, but Go Shuang came instead. The two enter into a fight. The demon is strong, but is no match for Go Shuang. In the heat of battle, the demon realizes that the girl fighting him is the same person who sealed him centuries ago. The spirit leaves the body of the hotel owner, which was only used as a mask. When the real fight begins, even with the body changed, the demon is still powerless against Go Shuang. For a moment, he manages to capture her, but using her tricks, she escapes. She manages to reach the exit, but the wolf demon stops her. Then, Go Shuang uses her last weapon she prepared earlier and destroys the entire hotel, risking her own life. In the distant past, there lived a monk named Jun Bao. He was in love with the warrior Go Zhang, who constantly rejected him. He was also a friend of the fox monster, Suji, whose real name was Zhu'er. At that time, people were in conflict with demons and went hunting them. Jun Bao also goes on this trip and informs Suji about the mission. Before going on the mission, Jun Bao and Go Zhang make a bet that if he captures more demons than Go Zhang, then she will go to the festival with him. And if she wins, Jun Bao must do something for her. Trying to protect Go Zhang, Jun Bao gets injured and loses the bet. Jun Bao begins to question why humans and monsters fight. Then Go Zhang arrives, and he asks her to help him. She is again rude to him because of his reckless behavior. As they walk, they encounter a demon who defeated and later killed their senior. The demon wants to know where the person he wants to kill is, and the fight begins. Jun Bao and Go Zhang hold on well until the demon takes Go Zhang hostage. In order to save her, Jun Bao must give the demon what he wants. He takes the demon to a cave. There, they set a trap for him and throw the demon off a cliff. Ever since they were children, Jun Bao and Go Zhang were inseparable. Since childhood, Jun Bao asks Go Zhang to marry him, but she refuses, until now. After the fight against the wolf demon, Go Zhang is injured, but the demon has not given up yet. He tries to attack them one last time, but Go Zhang stops him. Jun Bao then asks her to marry him, to which she agrees. But due to the explosion caused by her attack in the battle against the demon, the cliff collapses and Go Zhang falls. Jun Bao manages to catch her, but she decides to let go of his hand so that at least he can survive. She falls, and Suji arrives just on time to help them. Jun Bao begs her to take the medicine he had with him and give it to Go Zhang because it is her only chance to survive. Suji manages to save her, but Go Zhang wakes up with no memory of Jun Bao. Go Zhang lost part of her soul and memories after the battle. She's no longer able to feel strong emotions. 3 months after the incident, she decides to embark on a journey to clear her mind and maybe get her memories back. That was the last time they saw each other. Since then, they were destined to meet in every life, and as long as Go Zhang stayed with Jun Bao, he would not be able to save her. In the present, after remembering his past life, Feng Zi decides to break this curse. He injures himself in order to temporarily break the seal and release his power. He enters the hotel to save Go Shuang, who is running out of energy. He genuinely desired to save her this time. Feng Zi manages to save Go Shuang from the wolf demon. The demon wants to keep fighting, but Suji appears and defeats him. Go Shuang is injured, so Feng Zi is trying to take her to the hospital. Suji catches up with them, and Feng Zi again begs her to save Go Shuang. At that moment, Go Shuang's associates appear to help her. She is taken to the hospital, and Feng Zi stays with Suji. The hotel is destroyed, but the wolf demon still manages to survive. 3 days after the incident, Feng Zi is sick. His friends take care of him, and he is visited by Suji, who gives him a special pill that will cure him in a few hours. After he recovers, he goes out with his friends and meets Go Shuang, who has also recovered. She introduces him to her associate, Yan Xiaoyu, who is the president of the student council and is now responsible for Feng Zi's safety.